Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video I want to share how to install PHPCSFixer, how to configure it, and how to enforce a code style in a pipeline. And while it might not be as powerful as PHPUnit or PHPStan to actually detect bugs, it can still help to make sure that whenever you're doing a code review or in other discussions, you're not talking about how the code is styled, but you're actually talking about how the code works and what it's supposed to do. Now, unlike with PHPStan or PHPUnit, there's actually multiple packages available that do some kind of coding standards checking and fixing. And that's PHP Code Sniffer and PHP Coding Standard Fixer. And for me, it's just a personal preference. I mostly use Coding Standard Fixer, so I'll show you how to configure that in this video. To include it in our project, we simply need to do a composer require friends of PHP, PHP-CS, that's fixer, and add it as a development requirement. And now we can actually run without the configuration file. Let's just add it immediately. And the same thing we did with PHPStan or PHPUnit, we can have a dist file, and then if a developer wants some different settings locally, they can run a local configuration file. But let's first update our gitignore. And while we're at it, let's first organize it a bit because it's become quite messy. So we have some IDE settings, we have composer, and then we have our tools. So we have PHPUnit, we have PHPStan, and then we have PHPCSFixer. So I'm adding here comments so we can actually organize this in sections. So this is for composer. Don't have an ID environment section yet. Unit goes here. Cache. IDE goes into IDE. PHPStan. And then we add a PHPCSFixer.php. Now we can actually create our CSFixer configuration file. So we do PHPCSFixer.dist. We add the declare strict types. And then in here we need to return a new config of CSFixer. And set some rules. For now we'll leave this empty, but we'll just put it here already. And then we'll set finder, where we'll pass a new finder. And then find the current directory, but we exclude the vendor folder. And let's import these namespaces. And we need to look at the rules now. And if we go to the documentation, we can see that there's a lot of rules available, more than enough to choose from. And it's often easier to just start off with a rule set. A quite common one is PSR 12, and then configure extra rules or disable rules from that set. And you'll probably come across these more often, but the PSR stands for PHP Standards Recommendations. We actually had PSR 4 in our Composer video, and they're basically community standards for certain aspects of PHP. And for coding style, there's actually been 3. There's PSR 1, there's PSR 2, which has now been deprecated, and then there's PSR 12, which we'll actually use. And if we go back to the rule sets and we go to PSR 12, we can actually see which rules are included here. And then we can copy this identifier here and paste that in our rule sets. And we can now run CSFixer from the command line, but we can also immediately add an alias. So let's do the same as with PHPUnit and PHPStan and add a CS alias, which goes to vendor bin PHPCSFixer check. And we also make a CSFix alias, goes to PHPCSFixer fix. So if we run composer CS, complaining about something, don't think it can, okay, should be a dot in front of here. We now do CS, it finds the file it wants to fix, and if we do a CS fix, it'll actually fix those files. And as you might have spotted, it added a PHPCSFixer cache here, so let's also ignore that in our gitignore because we don't want to commit that. We now delete it and run it again, create it and be gitignored. And right now we only have one rule set, and you can go much further than this. For example, this is my configuration for open source projects, but this differs per team and per person. So you normally decide on a code style in a team and then automatically let the code be fixed for you, and then you don't have to worry about it at all anymore. And then the last thing we need to do is make sure that in our pipeline our code style is checked. So what I usually do is make sure that a git hook is run locally, or you just run composer.csfix before you commit. I usually prefer the git hook. And then in our pipeline we check if the code quality actually passes with the configuration. And I added two aliases before. I added csfix and I added cs. The csfix you can run locally to actually fix the code, and then we can run cs in the pipeline. And this actually exits with an exit code 1, which means error when not all checks are passed. So when there's actually style issues that need to be fixed. So if we go to our GitHub action, we can copy an existing one because they're mostly the same again. And then we rename this to PHPCSFixer. And the final check is composer CS. Now we can actually commit our changes, push them, go to our repository. And if we wait a while, it should be picked up. And it found 0 of 12 files that can be fixed. While this was not the longest video or the most complicated one, we now have another pipeline that ensures that our code is of quality. And that's it for this video. If you are not subscribed yet, please make sure to do so, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.